Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Before we dive into today's content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and show some love by giving this video a thumbs up. Billy receives a telephone call from Phyllis in Paris. Daniel informs Phyllis at Society that he is prepared to consider Billy's business venture. She exults and assures him that he will not harbor any remorse. Phyllis inquires as to what prompted him to respond in the affirmative. He realized he had nothing to lose, and as she pointed out, not a lot of options. Phyllis informs him that they are the ideal combination, and Billy has confidence in their abilities. Daniel has a strong desire for this to be successful. Phyllis thinks they should tell Billy, and takes out her phone. Daniel reminds her that he's in Paris with Sally, and this can wait until it gets back. Phyllis contends he won't mind a phone call. He needs to know that Daniel's in. Daniel persists in his objection. He's accepting zero culpability for what happens if she calls. Billy and Sally enter Ashley's Paris residence in Paris and are enamored with it. Billy is relieved that his sister is absent, as it leaves him and his partner alone. He instructs Sally to interpret this as a demonstration of his gratitude for her invitation. She appreciates him accepting. He's confident Ashley feels bad for him after what happened with his mother. Changing his attitude, Billy says, "No more woe is me." Sally agrees. It doesn't suit the environs. They embrace. Bill asks about Sally's work schedule, and she says she's all his for the remainder of today and tonight. He'd like to take her to some sights off the beaten path and out for dinner. They'll walk the Seine, and then conclude in a jazz bar. Sally teases that if he's not going to charter out the Eiffel Tower, she might as well go home. He tosses food at her, and she threatens him with cheese. Billy's phone chimes, and he sees that it's Phyllis. He informs Sally it can wait until later, and they head out. At Society, Phyllis leaves Billy a message saying she has great news, and urging him to get back to her. She and Daniel debate whether it's a romantic excursion. Daniel insists that it is, and requests his mother to let them have a few days to enjoy themselves. Phyllis reacts strangely, so he asks what's going on. Summer and Claire discuss Victor. At Crimson Lights, Claire walks in and notices Summer. She observes her cousin is in a good mood. Summer says she was gazing at photos of Harrison's diorama. Claire says Kyle sent her a picture last night, and she called Harrison. Summer knows she was there. Claire says Harrison has an artistic eye, and maybe receives it from her. She notes the three of them seemed to have a good time last night. Summer says Harrison really relished having them together. She's sorry again that it ruined her dinner arrangements. She must have been a little dismayed. On the patio, Sharon tells Nick it's going to be challenging to get Daniel's family to forgive her. Nick says Summer is protective of Daniel and her mother. She can't reach out at Jordan and Ian, so she's doing it to Sharon. The blonde hopes there will come a day when they won't despise her. Nick advises her to give it some time. Sharon contemplates about doing some penance. Maybe it's time she paid for the crimes she did perpetrate. Nick says she doesn't need to do contrition. She's paying enough of a price with the remorse she's feeling. He's confident time will heal the wounds. Sharon concedes that he made some good arguments. Nick suggests they go get brunch. She'd adore that. Inside, Claire understands why Kyle had to cancel their supper. Summer knows she was trying to get him together with their grandfather, and wishes her luck getting Victor to alter his mind. Claire says Summer knows the history between the Abbotts and Newmans better than she does, but it seems extreme to her. Are Victor's sentiments justified? Nick interrupts to inform Summer he's going to Society with Sharon. He tells Summer he adores her and takes off. Claire repeats her question to Summer, who says Kyle was destined to get caught in the middle of Victor and Jack's feud. But her grandfather never told her to stay away from him. Grandpa was actually really supportive when Kyle and I were together. She's regretful it hasn't been the same for her. It's just commerce and timing. Claire wishes to figure things out between Kyle and Grandpa. Summer warns her not to push too strongly. Kyle's confident Victor will never accept them. It will be an insurmountable battle. Claire says it's worth it to her to attempt. Summer tells her to go for it. Maybe she and Kyle will be able to alter Victor's mind. There's a first time for everything. Daniel grows suspicious. At Society, Phyllis informs Daniel she doesn't like Sally at all. They're not even marginally friends. Daniel grins. I heard you threw a bucket of ice on her. He suggests she avoid her. Phyllis complains that every time she sees Billy, she's on him like the parasite. She's concerned she'll murmur negatives to Billy about her job performance. She recalls that she manipulated Summer into relocating to Milan. Daniel points out she's moved past that and employed her at Marchetti. Phyllis isn't over it and frets Sally's taking pot shots at her right now. Daniel says they're probably not even thinking about her. Why is she so concerned about what Billy thinks about her? He won't alter his opinion of her because Sally doesn't like her. Phyllis complains that they wouldn't even be together if Chelsea and Adam hadn't cheated on them. It's a bad notion. Billy deserves better. Daniel frowns. Meaning what exactly? Daniel asks if his mother believes she's a better option for Billy than Sally. Phyllis says that's absurd. Daniel says neither of them should be working with Billy if she wishes to date him. Phyllis exclaims that the concept is ridiculous. They're just friends, and she's attempting to make sure he's distraction-free. Sally's a distraction at best. At worst, she's pure devastation. In Paris, Billy and Sally come into the apartment laughing after getting caught in the downpour. They towel off, and she asks if he wants to hunker down and stay in. He supposes they can do the jazz bar another night. They ruminate about finding something to do indoors and peck and canoodle. Billy takes Sally into the bedroom, and she slides off her dress straps as he undoes his shirt. Kissing passionately, they keep undressing and collapse onto the bed to make love. Sharon and Nick encounter Phyllis and Daniel. In society, Phyllis tells Daniel no more discussion about Billy and Sally. She asks what he'd like to do at Abbott Communications. He'd like to honor Heather's memory. She adored dogs and karaoke, though she had a horrible voice. Daniel turns sad, and Phyllis asks if he's fine. He's just waiting for the remembering not to pain so much. He desires the memories of Heather to bring him joy, not pain. Phyllis assures her son that things will get better. I promise you there's hope. They're teaming up and nothing will deter them. Just then Nick and Sharon stroll in. Nick greets Daniel and Phyllis, as does Sharon. They don't answer the woman. Phyllis proposes Nick check Sharon's pancakes for PCP. Sharon complains to Nick about people disliking her. It reminds her of everything she did. It's the least I deserve. Nick thinks it's part of that contrition she's talking about. Seeing Daniel and his family, and feeling regretful is a punishment. Sharon isn't convinced it's enough. At their table, Daniel complains about Phyllis's remark. She says she could have done worse, and is reining herself in at his behest. Daniel feels they should get the payment. Phyllis approves. Across the room, Nick informs Sharon they added mimosas to the menu, and reminds her of the time he made them for her but used beer. Sharon chuckles. It was disgusting. Nick is delighted to hear her laugh. Sharon hasn't been able to for a long time. She suggests they get some mimosas. He teases. We could probably won't be as good as mine though. Summer's cryptic parting words. At Crimson Lights, Summer thanks Claire again for placing her plans on hold last night. It meant a lot for them to spend time together as a family. She suggests Claire not worry too much about matters between her and Kyle. Things will work out exactly how they're supposed to. In bed in Paris, Sally tells Billy this is the first time she's ever made love in Paris. He says me too. Or at least it felt like the first time. They concur it was magical after the rainstorm and kiss. He believes the rain has stopped, and asks if they should go out on the town. Sally is perfectly content, right there in his arms. They embrace.